Hello, this is my beautiful audience, my fiance Linda and our sister Jessica. Did you know that failure is actually a very important part of success? Ronald K. Mitchell wrote an article titled Failing to Succeed on richardmitchell.org in 2004. According to him, 42% of new businesses reported failure before finally succeeding and becoming successful entrepreneurs. Many people experience failure time and time again, but through perseverance, determination, and sharing their stories, most people eventually succeed and accomplish their goals. Today, I'm going to show you some success stories that started with failures, how failure can actually help us become successful, and how sharing your testimony of failure and success can help inspire many other people. I chose this topic because I definitely know what it's like to fail time and time again. And at 36 years old, I'm finally starting to become successful in all areas of my life. I've listened to other people share their stories and learned from it, and I've shared my story many times as well. So I think that gives me a little bit of credibility on giving you this speech today. If you look at failure as a stepping stone to success, and if you never give up, the sky's the limit. Sharing your story with others doesn't only help them, it also helps you, and it is through these stories that we feel connection, we no longer feel alone in our failures, and that we learn from, grow, and become better. To begin, I've researched many stories from celebrities, athletes, and inventors, and entrepreneurs who became successful, but not before failing many times. Some people would disagree. They believe that people learn more from their own mistakes rather than from the mistakes of others. According to Sebastian Kittman, who wrote an article in Lifehack 2022 titled Successful People Who Failed Before Succeeding, the title of the article says it all, that many successful people experienced failure in the beginning. Some examples are listed on the left side of my visual aid here. Vincent van Gogh, Steve Jobs, Abraham Lincoln, Michael Jordan, Walt Disney, all of these people report failing before succeeding. And most of them, the beautiful part about it is they share their stories through quotes, books, videos, all in an effort to inspire people to persevere through failure. They will become successful. A really good example is J.K. Rowling, who you might know as the author of the very popular book series, Harry Potter. She was actually denied by 12 publication houses before finally being accepted to publish her book. I also found a direct quote from Michael Jordan on the bottom left. Michael Jordan's quote comes from an article titled Michael Jordan, I Failed and That's Why I Succeed. It was written by Tom McCallum in 2019. It can be found on tommccallum.com. The quote says, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I have failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. I love this quote very much. I think that Michael Jordan, a lot of people look up to him, and I think it's very powerful to get a quote from Michael Jordan like that. It just inspires me, so I wanted to share it with you guys. Next, I'll be talking about how failure can actually help us become successful. Many people believe the opposite, that failure just reinforces bad habits instead of correcting them. Riccardo Leoncini wrote an article titled How to Learn from Failure. He explains to us that failure can lead to creativity and innovation, and it's widely believed that innovation is necessary because of failure. So here I have a part of my visual aid that talks about how we can turn failures into innovation. Some companies promote creative behavior and also accept failure as a common occurrence. This not only increases the chances for innovation, but also minimizes the stigma that failure can create. I found another article titled, How Can We Learn as Much from Failure as We Can from Success? This article was written by David Wilkie and was published by the Walton Family Foundation in 2025. This article talks about a technique called pause and reflect. Many teams all over the world use this process to help make improvements. The process starts with a pause. Then the team assesses their performance, analyzes their data, considers different perspectives. They then adjust plans, set new goals, and lastly, they implement changes. The pause and reflect technique is a fantastic way to turn failure into success. Finally, I would like you to understand that sharing your story not only helps you, but inspires others as well. Critics of this idea would say that personal experiences are subjective, and what might have worked for one person may not work for another. I believe that sharing your story with others turns your weaknesses into strengths, and it gives you the ability to have an impact on others as well. An article published in E! Not Alone in 2025 titled "Why Sharing Your Story Matters" was written by Willard Marsh in 2025, says that being vulnerable and facing truths with openness can transform what once felt unbearable into a source of strength. When we accept our flaws and failures, sharing our story actually gives us freedom from those things. And it also invites others to experience that freedom with us when we share our stories. When I started my presentation, I mentioned that 42% of new businesses admitted to failing before they finally figured it out. I showed you some examples of many people who achieved success even in the midst of failure. I explained how failure can help us become successful. And lastly, I explained why it is so important and beneficial for us to get out there and share our stories with others. I've shared my story many times. I find great value in it. My story of failure and success. The best feeling in the world is afterwards when somebody comes up to you and says, "Thank you so much. I really needed to hear that." I hope today that I have inspired each and every one of you, and I encourage you to get up, get out, and go tell your story to as many people as possible. Someone, somewhere, is waiting to hear what you have to say.